welcome back to Cats in Camo. We're doing a review on the Colt Competition 1911 5-inch barrel. We're out on the range to start with. We did stage 1 in episode 1. Episode 2, we're picking up with the steel challenge. We're doing the 5-plate knockdown at 10 yards. And then we have the hostage taker, who's listing to his left. We may have to adjust that before we actually shoot it. But we're going to do, I have 8 rounds to do the 5-plate knockdown. Should allow for a miss. And then take out the bad guy. The Colt 1911. Lost this. And that's why I needed the extra couple of rounds. I completely lost my sight picture on that.
Alright everybody, it's time for our final part with this gun, and we're going to be shooting it, or at least I'm going to be shooting it, on my specialty course, which basically means I'm going bowling with bullets. And of course we hope to have a finale of some shaving cream. That was anticlimactic.
Alright, let's get into the scores. 8 categories, 1 through 5. And that starts us off with comfort of grip. These G10 grips have stippling, so there's texture, but it's pleasant. It doesn't kind of rub on your hand. Some of them are a little too aggressive. I really like this. I gave it a 4.
If we're going on look alone, 4, okay? Just looking at it, it looks cool. But actually holding it in your hand and having to shoot it on the range, it's just a little off, a little wonky in my hands. And maybe with experience I can find a better grip for that, but for right now I'm giving it a 2.
Let's talk about the sights. The sights on this gun are not factory, okay? When you buy your Colt Competition, it has standard sights on the back that are just blacked out target sights and a fiber optic cable on the front. That fiber optic piece that was on this one was blue because it matched the grips. It looked great and was horrible on the range because the light it wasn't bright. It didn't pick up at all. So we changed the sights on this, and this is a completely unsponsored shout out to True Glow. We got True Glow TFX Pro sights on these. These are fiber optic night sights with orange. I'm going to make sure the barrel's not pointing at me. With an orange circle. So during the daylight, the sun hits these and they just pop and they glow. They're really easy to see. And at night, they're still full-on glow-in-the-dark night sights that don't ever dim and go out. These are, in my estimation, the easiest, best sights to use for shooting, because during the daylight they pop. When you're dealing in kind of gloomy weather or indoors with not a lot of lighting but still too much for the night sights to really kick in, that orange, it's easy to pick up. And I'm gushing about this, but 5.
I kind of have to agree. Where this was kind of a new experience for me, where I'm used to kind of the glowing sights, where the trigon or the luminescent, whatever technical term insert here. But the fact that this actually, again, there's this orange dot around the one, so yeah, it's 3 of the same color, but that orange dot does help you pick it up and keep it between the two really well. Excuse me. And so it just worked really well, going from point to point and being able to keep that dot in between the 2 back sights. So I give it 5 as well.
Let's talk about the trigger. This is an above average trigger for a 1911. Colt makes a good trigger. This is crisp. Some triggers are a little bit softer. This is very crisp, so you're not likely to trigger off a round when you're not expecting it. I liked it. I gave it a 4.
It's 1911. It's a half moon trigger.
The musical.
I don't know what else to say. And I feel bad sometimes, but it's what I expect from it. As I shoot more and more 1911s, it's what I expect. If one showed up without a half moon, we'd have to fire it and see if it met my expectations or not, because I would be expecting that half moon there. And Dan would probably jump off the cliff, because if it didn't have the half moon...
You're just eager to have me jump off a cliff, aren't you?
But for that reason, hopefully that was slightly entertaining for you, because I'm just giving it a 3. It's industry standard. It's not special to me. But it's still good. It's not bad. It's industry standard. That's good.
Let's talk about perceived recoil. I gave it an average score, just a 3. I kind of expected more out of a Colt competition series, but transitioning from target to target, I felt like the recoil, it slowed me down a little bit more than I was expecting from some of the other 1911s I shot. Obviously not a problem, but I expected a little bit better. Gave it a 3.
There was one of my courses, it just didn't feel like a 45. It felt like a 9mm. And so it exceeded my expectations. When I was done shooting it, I literally had to ask him, wait, that was a 45? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. So for that reason, I'm actually going to give it a 4.
I gave a 1911 a 4. Nice. All right, well, let's talk about accuracy. It's a good shooting gun, and for all that, I shoot this gun side by side with other 1911s and other 45s, and it still comes in on the upper part of the pack. I gave it a 4, above average accuracy.
One thing I'm beginning to expect when shooting higher calibers is I do have a lower confidence level, because I'm expecting that recoil. I'm expecting that oomph to it. And because I was expecting that, there were some times where I did flinch. And I caught myself a couple times going, man, I flinched on that one. And then I recognized why my shot was off. And I don't want that to reflect on the score of accuracy for the gun. So I know I flinched, I know I missed some shots, and that's on me. But that aside, I am going to still give it a 3. I think it's industry standard for a Colt coming off the assembly line, and that's a good thing.
Let's talk about ease of reload. If you're using the 7-round magazine, it also seats clean. You don't have to do that little twist and little push sometimes for the flush mount. Every once in a while, it won't seat clean. It does on this one. So I give it a 3. Industry standard, perfectly acceptable.
I had problems with it, and because that was my experience with it, and even when he was like, oh, you gotta do it faster, it still took me a couple times, and there were still a couple sticks. So with practice, with experience, it could be fine, but even he said sometimes it sticks a little bit, so for that reason, I'm gonna stick with my 2.
Let's talk about reliability. This Colt out of the box, and having about 500 rounds through it now, has not had a single problem. No hiccups, no failures to eject, no failures to feed, 0 problems. I'm going to give it a 4.
Reliability with this gun for me was a little bit hard to score, because it did function. There was no failure to eject, no failure to feed, and that's what you want in a gun. However, in shooting this gun, I don't know if I feel completely reliable in shooting it in a life or death situation. Eventually, if I put all 8 rounds through it, I might hit something. And I might hit it where it needs to be hit. But again, part of that could just be me not being comfortable with the gun. But still, I wouldn't pick this up for reliability. If anything, I'd pick it up for a club. Just whack. So, it's not meant to be a club, so for that reason, I gave it a 2.
Let's talk about ease of maintenance and cleaning. It's a 1911, folks. It comes apart slow and in lots of pieces. It does not have a full guide rod, so when you take it apart, once you've taken the spring and the little guide, it's going to fall out. It's just the nature of the beast. I gave it a 2 just because, yeah, it's a standard 1911, but for a standard 45, it's still longer and more complicated. Everything goes the way it's supposed to, by and large, so it's not a 1, like, hey, fix this, Colt. It's the way it works. I just gave it a 2.
Hey, fix this, Colt. What's with 2 springs?
It increases longevity. You don't need to replace the spring after 3 to 5,000 rounds.
It increases the amount of items in the lost and found box. That's what it does. Too many parts. It's scary. It's terrifying. No. Give me a revolver any day. There's just a lot of pieces, and there's a lot of small pieces. There's 2 springs. Yes, I gave it a 1. No, thank you.
Big shock. All right, let's total it up. If you add up my scores, I gave it a 29.
My score adds up to 20.
It's pricey. I believe the suggested manufacturer's retail price on this is $9.99. You can find them for about $100 less now, so it's going to run you about $900. And I mentioned already that we put $130 sights on it, so that's going to bump the price a little bit more if you want to do that. But if blue is your color and double capture springs, 2 springs are in your wheelhouse, this is a good 1911. Buy one just to upset Allie.
Wait a second.
And take pictures and send them to us.
No. Okay, before he goes completely insane, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we need the likes. Just go ahead. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for stopping by. And we hope that you would comment down below on any other non-1911s that we can review. And just give us some suggestions, because we really want to know what you guys want to see. And be sure to stay tuned, because we will be posting more reviews soon. And see you then.